always good.
3, 2.
Hi and welcome to round 2 of the Rotax Max Euro Challenge right here at the Casaletta circuit in Italy. Now we've an action-packed plan for you today as it's the finals. Chris Hartley's here with me. Chris, run us through what's happening today.
Well, first of all, the karts are going to go out for their morning warm-up. It's important today as well because we had heavy rain yesterday in the heat, so they've got to get used to the setup, go back to where they were on Thursday and Friday in terms of the setup. So a few laps warm up for everybody. Then we move into our races. We've got 9 races today in total, so we'll begin with the second chance heats. This is a chance for everybody that didn't automatically qualify for the pre-final of the point scoring races. It's one more chance for them to get through. So in each class, 28 drivers have made it through. There are 6 more places available on the back of the grid for each race. So everybody goes into this pretty mad final chance race. The top 6 go through. If you're 7th or below, you go home. After that then, they'll join the back of the grid for the pre-final, and then we have the pre-final races, 1 for each class. Championship points available for that. The results of that race set the grid for the grand final. So if you win the pre-final, you're on pole for the grand final, and even more championship points are available there. And of course, those are the big races where we get the trophies and even more championship points.
So with the rain yesterday, it's all about these final 6 places to get you in for that second chance.
Yes, that's right, and I mean they're pretty entertaining races. And because of the rain yesterday, and there were a lot of incidents, a lot of people struggling with dramas, set-up problems because nobody had really tested in the rain. It'd been pretty nice all week, so we've got some very good drivers who are either just about scraped into the pre-final. They're at the back, people that went well in the first round at Genk, and you've got a few really good drivers that have had to come into this second chance race. So it's a real last chance for everybody. You've got nothing to lose. If you finish 7th or 8th, there's no point. So everybody goes for it. And if you're in 6th place, the last qualifying position on the last lap, you don't want to be there because you're a target. Everybody's gunning for you.
So 7th place will really be after you, pushing for that last chance to get right through.
That's right, yeah. So it's usually pretty entertaining.
Fantastic. Now we've got 3 categories here. We've got the juniors, the seniors and DD2. Chris, run us through the plan. Let's start off with the juniors.
Well, in juniors yesterday, Philip Morin, the driver, who went very well at Genk in the first round but never quite pulled it together in the point scoring races. So he was great in qualifying. Philip was great in the heats, but he did okay. He got points and he's in the top 10 in the championship, but we all thought he was going to get on the podium, at least I did, and it never happened. Well, he's repeated that today, and Philip Moran in the seniors was fantastic yesterday. He won all 4 of his races, so the Swedish driver is going to be on pole for the senior category. He's been unbeaten so far, however he's been unbeaten in the wet conditions. It's going to twist things around now because you had a lot of guys that were quick on Friday. Some of the American drivers like Jack Webprin were great in the dry. It rained yesterday.
And they seemed to struggle in the wet, didn't they?
Yeah, but equally you've got drivers who are better in the wet who had a great day yesterday, and they'll be a bit disappointed to see the sunshine. But Philip is a driver that's good in all conditions, so he's going to be on pole for the seniors. Then you've got Max Verstappen, who's the son of Jos Verstappen, the ex-Formula 1 driver. He's come here as a bit of a one-off. He's not really taking part in the full championship, so he's not worried about points. He just wants to win races, and he kind of drove like that yesterday.
He did. He just went for it. He said to me while I interviewed him yesterday, he said, I just thought I'd try something and I went with it and it seemed to work. So
well, he was in the very first heat of the day, and he had a great battle. He was in 2nd place. So that's a good start to the day. 2nd place. He was about 3 kart lengths behind the race leader. Last corner, he went for a move, and I nearly took them both out, to be honest. But it's that sort of determination. It was so entertaining to watch. He and Charlie Eastwood yesterday, particularly in the morning, were just going for every single move they could get. So it's a real kind of aggressive strategy that I had. But Max is going to be a danger, I think, from 2nd on the grid. And then you've got Harry Webb having another good day. Harry's the junior champion last year. He's moved up to seniors. He's with the big boys, but he couldn't care less. He's just taken them all on. And he had a couple of wins yesterday as well. So Harry Webb, who's 2nd in the championship in seniors, is going to be 3rd on the grid.
So Harry certainly won to watch them today.
Yeah, Harry will be, yeah. And I mean, he's straight out of the box in seniors. He's made the step up. At the first round in Genk, he was very quick. He won the pre-final. He didn't get on the podium in the main final. He got into a few battles, but I think he's looking good here. And he was quick in the dry and the wet, so we know he's going to go well today.
Okay, so that wraps up the juniors. Let's talk now about the juniors.
Yep. In juniors, Guan Yu Zhu, the Chinese-born driver who lives now in the UK. had a really good day yesterday, and he's got pole position, so he's always thereabouts. He was 8th in the championship last year, but he was one of these drivers last year. He was learning the circuit still, and you could see him improving as the season went on. And he's come out of the box. He's really hit the mark running this year. He was competitive in the first round at Genk, and he's looked very good here. But again, I think he was probably slightly more comfortable in the wet conditions than the dry. He was pretty quick in the dry. I think he qualified 6th fastest, but he wasn't the quickest in the dry. So he's on pole, but that doesn't necessarily make him the favourite. Josh Price, another British driver who was fantastic in the first round. He's got 2nd on the grid here. Again, in the first round, he was brilliant in qualifying, brilliant in the heats. He got pole position with the pre-final, got to the second corner and got took out. And that was the end of his day. He sent to the back, started at the back of the grid for the final. And he had a similar situation in the pre-event race in Spain, which is the Winter Cup. So he's had huge amounts of speed. I think our commentator Ken Walker said yesterday he's the driver that's put the most in this season and got the least out. So I think we're all kind of hoping that Josh has a bit less bad luck today. He starts 2nd, and then you've got Jack Bartholomew, the Coles racing driver, another young British driver. He's young, he's 14, but he's taller than me. He's a very tall driver. He was quickest in qualifying on Friday. So we know he's quick in the dry and the sunny conditions, and he went well yesterday, and he's 3rd on the grid. So Jack's one to watch, I think, from 3rd.
So he's going to be having a good day now that the sun's out.
Yeah, he's one of these drivers that he's not too bothered what it does, whether it's dry or wet, I think. So it'll be comfortable.
And finally then, the last round, the DD2.
Yeah, well, coming back into the championship, we had Simas Judversis, who's come back, and he's absolutely on it yesterday. So he took, I think, 3 wins yesterday. He's going to be on pole in DD2. Zendarua, the Belgian driver, 3rd in the championship last year. He's right up there, quick in both conditions, 2nd on the grid. And Alex Finkelstein, the French driver, starts 3rd. And in the Masters, the best master of the over 32s, Cristiano Magado is here. Fantastic driving yesterday from him. Triple world champion. He's going to be one to watch today.
So Chris, an action-packed lineup for us today. Ken, over to you to take it from here.
Well, yes, thanks Chris, thanks Sarah. That's a good resume of what we're about to be seeing, and it starts in less than half a minute with the first of those morning warm-up sessions. This one for the DD2 guys going in the second chance race, and just a couple of surprises. Maxi Fleischmann will start on the front row in this one, in the race for the second chance DD2 guys. Have to say I'm surprised that Max Fleischmann hasn't qualified directly through. Behind him, Manny Scheibinger, might have expected him to make the cut. But the big one, Igor Mukin, we would expect to be one of the front runners of the Masters. But he's got to start outside of a qualifying position. So Igor Mukin, the first of the Masters in the second chance race, got work to do. He won the Winter Cup this year in Campos, Spain. So fair little bit to do. These are the guys that are out on the circuit now. And perhaps the other disappointment I should have mentioned, the lady in the class, the classy lady Tamsin Germain. It just did not happen for her yesterday in the heats, and she starts the second chance race on the 6th row in 11th position. You've got to finish in the top 6, remember. So Tamsin got work to do. It's not beyond her by a long chalk. But of course, with the Masters being aggregated with the DD2 Open drivers, it's going to be quite a drive from Tamsin from 11th to the top 6 if she makes it. Well, those of you here at the circuit can see for yourselves. Those of you tuned in online, you early birds, thank you for your interest in us. Thank you for tuning in to RGMMC TV. And you can see the stark contrast from yesterday. There's our high position camera looking out over, well, it was looking out over turns 2, 3, 4. This is just beyond that, down 5 and 6. Here we are down the long back straight, and whilst the, well, shall we say, the track is not bone dry, it's very considerably drier than it was yesterday. There were times when it almost resembled a lake. So, lovely sunny conditions here at Laghi Circuit, Castelletto in the north of Italy, with just about an hour's drive south from downtown Milan. And have to say, very, very pleasant indeed in the morning sunshine. Well, as soon as these times come up, I'll tell you just who's doing what in terms of the relevance. But when these guys go racing in the second chance heat, Andrei Stepanov, the Russian, will be on pole position. alongside Maxi Fleischmann. Immediately the time's being set. Igor Mukin, top of the chart, 1 minute 0.2. And Igor Mukin, I did mention, will start on the fourth row, on the outside of the fourth row. He must pick up a minimum of 2 places to qualify for the pre-finals and finals. And as Chris Hartley has mentioned several times, they are the only championship point scoring races, the pre-final and the final. Well, the Russian has done well so far in the opening couple of minutes or so. 1 minute 0.2 makes him quickest out there in front of Nicholas Olsen, the Dane, 1 minute 0.3. And cart number 645, which is Chris Sturken, he's the third quickest. Now, Nicholas Olsen and Chris Sturken do start in qualifying positions. In fact, Nicholas Olsen goes quickest as we speak, 57.29. Less than 2 minutes to go in this morning warm-up session because they're only 5-minute sessions. It's just to get the feel of things. And again, as Chris Hartley was saying earlier on, very, very, very different conditions to yesterday. Therefore, just getting the feel of your kart is important this morning. And, well, Nicholas Olsen's gone okay, 57.290. Of course, in qualifying practice, the DD2s were posting times in the 47s, not the 57s. So whilst these are not the front runners, we can see that the track is certainly better than yesterday, but nowhere near the race pace that it was earlier in the competition. Well, those of you tuned into RGMMC TV, you can see at the top right of your screen, we enter the last minute of this 5 minutes warm-up. Nicholas Olsen and Igor Mukin just trading places at the top of the chart, and the Dane on top now at 56.1, the Russian Igor Mukin second at 56.2. And Irvin Montfort talking to his father last night, and Irvin's had quite a struggle to get things right. A driver who's driven in this series with us some years ago, making a welcome return, but a little bit off the pace this weekend. Incidentally, his father was telling me that there's a strong 4-stroke scene in the Netherlands. I was very interested to learn that. Back in the UK, where I'm based, don't have a lot of 4-stroke racing, and I was interested to know that there were 120 registered drivers. Maybe RGMMC, Mr. Roland Geidel, will think about integrating a 4-stroke competition into the RGMMC portfolio one of these days. So, into the final session. In fact, it's not the final moments of the session. The checkered flag is out. Thomas Leiner, our starter, holding the checkered flag. The symbol to the top right of your screen shows you that the session is over, the 5-minute session. Our really hard-working marshals, you see to the left of your screen, they all got a thorough soaking yesterday. Incidentally, so did RGMMC TV's Sarah Dryhurst, but hopefully we're in for a much nicer day. It looks that way. Well, when that race starts, it will be Andrei Stepanov who's on pole position. This morning he was only 12th quickest, 58.44, but he starts on pole position, a 10-lap race to hold either that first place from pole or any of the 5 places behind him, and he stays in the competition. The lady, Tamsin Germain, well, she was 9th quickest, 57.484. Tamsin Germain from a really quite famous Kent-based racing family. Dad Mike still racing in vintage